Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my channel, and today in this video we are going to learn about a new tool called Phoenix, and this is an open source tracing and evaluation application which allows us to understand what is happening behind the scenes when we are running those agents. So if you are aware of softwares like Langsmith, then you know what tracing is. Otherwise, in a very simple language, what I can say is when you are running your workflows, right? Um, the flow is going from one node to the other. There are tools and agents being executed. They are passing data to each other, and what you get as a final result is a string. But if you want to optimize, if you want to debug, then it is very important to know what went where and what was the output of those nodes, right? Otherwise, it is a complete black box for you. Applications like Phoenix or Langsmith gives you the tracing ability, which helps you understand throughout the entire graph what is happening. And that is the most important thing for building an efficient AI agent. And so in this video, I will show you how you can run this and get the best out of your agents, right? So let's start. This Phoenix has a lot of flavors. You can use their cloud hosting. You will see that they have their cloud tier, which you can go and subscribe if you don't want to host it yourself. But I find it easy to have my own version running on my machine. So I saw that they have multiple deployment options as well. Like if you see, they have Docker, they have Kubernetes, AWS with CloudFormation, so many things. Again, for simplicity, I chose the Docker version. And even in the Docker version, they have multiple flavors. For example, you can go with the Postgres version, where the entire tracing data and everything will be inserted in a Postgres database as well. Okay, for if you want to retain it for a longer period of time. But if you are just doing some basic development and you need it for debugging purposes, I would say you can even go with SQLite, which for that matter is what I have done in this video as well. Okay, so now let's see how things can be started. So I'll go to my notebook. This is one of the notebook that I had used to in my previous video, where I was talking about AI React agents versus the typical workflow agents, right? And in here, basically, I have a couple of tools. One is a get random fruit, and the other one is get random vegetable. I have created one React agent called Food Expert, which gets these two tools, and it is supposed to give me one random fruit and one random vegetable. Okay, and then we have a supervisor which has this Food Expert. So the supervisor is responsible for giving me a proper healthy snack recommendation. Okay, and we have the graph compiled and all those things. Now, in this, I have made certain modifications. If you go to the integrations, I want you to be aware of the documentation as well. So I'll show you. See, if you go into the integrations, there are multiple ways you can integrate this. And what I have done is used LangChain. Okay. In LangChain, you click on LangChain tracing, and what you get is the documentation that you will need. So as I said, you can go to the cloud version, but I am using the Docker version. In that, I'll show you my simple Docker Compose file. So this is what I have. This is the image. These are the ports. This is the environment, the volume. That's about it. You do a Docker Compose and you are done. And you can see my Docker Compose is running over here. It's quite light, to be very honest. It takes about 200 odd MB of memory, right? Which is quite fine. And then what I have also done is install these packages. Okay, this Arise Phoenix Hotel and this Open Inference, these two things are required. Okay, I have these already installed, so these should not take time. Then, this is one change which I have done. I have set the environment of Phoenix collector endpoint to be localhost 6006 because this is where my application is running. Okay. You get a default project when you start the application. So if you see, I registered the tracing provider using this register method and I mentioned the project as this. That's about it. After that, you don't need to do anything. Everything is taken care of. Okay. So I'll just execute this. You will get this kind of a output. Then I initiate my model, my tools. I'll just go click, click, click because this is something which I have already covered in my previous video. So if you want to understand that, you can do that by watching that particular video. Okay. But this is the graph that we have. We have the supervisor, we have a food expert, it has certain tools. Okay. Now, what I have over here is a request. A user statement said that I want a healthy snack, recommend something that is sweet. So I'll just execute this now. It will take about 5 to 6 seconds. Okay. And now I am not going to see the results over here. Let's see what Phoenix has stored for us. I'll click over here. You can see there is one entry. I'll click that and there's a lot of things. I'll just collapse first and then go one by one. See what happened. Supervisor was executed. Supervisor went to food expert and the food expert did its thing and then supervisor was called again. So now we can drill down and see what happened in the individual executions. So in the supervisor, you will see, this is the system message. Then it went into the agents. Then it did a transfer to food expert. Okay, fine. It got transferred to food expert. So then what happened? Again, food expert was called. And then, why don't we expand it now completely? Okay. From the food agent, the chat OpenAI was called and this is what came in. So the system prompt for the food agent is that you are a food expert, recommend a fruit. So what it did was it understood that the flow is going to be that it needs to call the food expert, the agent, and it needs to call these tools. Perfect. It got the execution plan. It called the get random fruit. The get random fruits output was cherry. Perfect. Then it went to get random vegetables. The output was spinach. It's a strange combination, but let's go ahead. Let's understand what is happening. The agent now here gave me an output. Okay, you are a food expert, so I want a healthy snack. Where is the output? Output messages: for a healthy and sweet snack, I recommend cherries as a delicious fruit. They're naturally sweet and packed with antioxidants. As for a vegetable, spinach is a great choice. So this is what came out from the food expert. Okay, you can go into individual tools to even understand what is coming out of that. But in here, I understood that this is the final result. Okay, so then there's the should continue. After this should continue, it goes to the supervisor. Okay, so now in the supervisor, what happened? So this is the system prompt. This is the user prompt. There is some bit of message over here. The tool calls are here. And the food expert said this is what it is. And if I go down over here, the output from the this supervisor is this final thing, because this was something which came out from the entire chain. But the final version is what we have over here, output message or the output. Okay, you can even do a markdown version if you want. So I recommend having cherries as a sweet for a healthy snack and spinach as a nutritious vegetable. And this is what finally came out. And the should continue should say that it's an end. So all of the should continues are different, because that is going to, like over here, the should continue talks about a different node where it needs to go, but over here we have an end, right? And this is how you get to see the entire execution plan. Now just imagine if you don't have this kind of an information, you need to do logging on so many places, and then it is such a difficult thing to manage. And this gives you this visual UI to understand what is happening, right? So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to show you in this video. It's a beautiful tool. I am really enjoying the way I can understand the data flowing, because otherwise, for me to know whether the flow which is coming out of these agents, whether they are the most optimized or not, will become very difficult. And then on top of it, there is things like you can understand what is the latency, where your most of the time is going, and things like that. And yeah, it also gives you a sense of the cost. But yes, in terms of Phoenix, this is one of the feature set. They allow us to look at the trace. There are other things. For example, you can control your prompts over here. You can manage data sets, something which I'll need to explore myself as well. But in this video, the tracing is the only thing which I wanted to show you and the benefits out of it. I hope you like this video, guys. If you have any questions, comment below and I will answer them. If you like this video, do click on the thumbs up icon and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.